I'm your host, Jaden Jefferson. I'm currently joined by Ed Beczynski. He's a candidate for an at-large seat on Toledo City Council. I know a lot of people will recognize you from the local business community. Why'd you want to enter politics?
That's the number one question everybody asks, like, Ed, you've worked so hard, almost 30 years downtown. Aren't you ready to be done? And when I think about the city of Toledo that I love the most, I thought, what can I do to give back? 30 great years downtown, and got calls from different people to really push me to run. And at first I was like, I don't know if I want to do that or not. It's going to take a lot of time. And the more I thought about it and was like, you know what, the mission is bigger than the fear, and I want to do whatever I can to help the city.
Given that you've started this campaign, what are going to be some of the top priorities that you're going to want to tackle if elected to City Council?
Yeah, so my three big ones, there's a lot, but the three big ones: neighborhoods, safety, and business. Growing up in the South End, South Toledo, and going to Burroughs and Bowser, it was very safe and a great neighborhood. And talking to a few different people, in other neighborhoods, it's not so much like that. And it's really sad that kids can't just go out and play. And they have to be worried, the parents have to be worried about what's going to happen to them. And we got to stop that. We got to have a safe neighborhood for all kids and all people that are living in Toledo. So neighborhoods is very important, and safety goes right with that. Business is a big part because we need more business, more jobs. Jobs are a big part of how we bring tax money in. And, you know, there's really only a few ways that we can do that, either because we're in a deficit right now, the city is, we're borrowing from the rainy day fund, and we have to fix that. And either you raise taxes, you're not going to attract new businesses and people that want to move to Toledo if we do that. Cut services, well, we just talked about safety, and that's, you know, fire and police are a big part of our budget. Or bring new revenue, new jobs, new investments into the city of Toledo. And I've been doing that with my businesses, and I have a relationship with the Speaker of the House, and I think, you know, we just need to go down there to Columbus and work with them. And we have a great city. People that live in Toledo, we all know that. I don't have to keep talking about that. So for me, it's, all right, so how do we get some good jobs and where people feel good about working or living in Toledo, but you need a job? So those three things are my priority.
And you just mentioned your perspective on taxation and obviously local business development. How much would you say that your experience in Toledo's business community would shape your approach to policymaking locally?
I think it's going to be big. I know what it takes to create jobs. I know what it takes to run a business and a budget. And, you know, we have to look at that. We need to look at our budget. I mean, it's $1 billion budget, and let's look at that, you know, how we're spending the money and how does it help. I feel like every time we write a check, we need to think, how does this help the city of Toledo and the residents? And if it doesn't, we need to say, okay, why are we doing this? And so being in business for almost 30 years, I think will definitely be a positive and something that I can bring to City Council.
Given that you obviously do have a local business footprint, would you still be involved with your local businesses, or would this be something that would be a full-time commitment?
I'm stepping back somewhat from my businesses. If and when I get elected, I'll still be part of it, but anything I ever do, I go all in. And City Council is not going to be just a little part-time job to get a paycheck, and this is something that I'm very eager, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to be the best city councilman that I can be.
And one thing I want to go back to, you mentioned jobs, because the city, one of the problems that has resulted in a declining population is the lack of jobs. Of course, white collar jobs, blue collar jobs. What would be city council's solution to that problem? Because it obviously won't be like flipping a switch. And so, what policies would you think would accomplish population growth rather than population decline?
Well, we talked about neighborhoods being clean and safe. That's number one. I really believe people are moving to Perrysburg, Sylvania, Rossford. Why? Because they feel safe and they're clean communities. We have a lot of great neighborhoods already, so I'm not saying Toledo's not, but we got to continue that throughout all the neighborhoods and bring the population up. Look at what is happening in Detroit. Detroit went in a big decline, and now their population is growing. They've brought more business to downtown in the city. We've got to do something like Detroit is doing and attract. And how do we attract? Everybody can just say, "Oh, we need more jobs." Yeah, we do. But how are we going to do that and showcase what a beautiful city we have? And we're very affordable. We're more affordable than the little townships I just mentioned. So let's get out there and showcase what a beautiful city we have, and support the police, support fire, support the unions, support all this, and work together. I've recently worked with a lady named Tina Butts, great lady. She takes care of a great neighborhood, another Alfonso in the North End. What they're doing to keep their neighborhood clean and safe is amazing. So I'd like to take them and showcase other neighborhoods and say, this is what the North End's doing, this is what other areas are doing, and just spread it all over the city of Toledo.
That's one of the things that doesn't come easy is neighborhood restoration, because lack of investment over the years contributes to neighborhoods maybe losing some of the compassion that people in those neighborhoods have. And so how would you involve different neighbors, different community members in their own neighborhood? Because usually that's most successful when they're leading it.
Yeah, 100%. The one thing today, we have more rentals than ownership. I met with the Northwest Ohio Realtors Board a week ago, and I'm going to lean to them we talked about different city, state, federal grants that first-time home buyers have or other buyers, and we got to get people to own their own homes. But you have to have a job too. So it's both ways, and I feel like when people own a home, they have more pride in their home, in their neighborhood. My uncle, who's near 90, said that back in the day over off LaGrange, that all the neighbors, if somebody didn't cut their grass for, if they missed a few days, people are knocking on their door. Why isn't your grass cut? I don't think that's going to happen today. Somebody might pull a gun. I don't know. I don't think that. But so what do we have to do to make our neighborhoods, just like you're talking about, pride again? And I think home ownership is a big part of that too.
There will be a lot of people that say Toledo maybe needs higher income housing, but we haven't even accomplished affordable housing yet. We still have a shortage of that, and we see that there's this rush to build housing that is more so expensive, more so in downtown, which would make it obviously immediately expensive. And so what do you want in terms of affordable housing? Because that's something that's really in need right now across the country.
Absolutely. We definitely need affordable housing, and we got to go to the state and federal government to get grants to help build these affordable homes and work with the builders and the neighborhoods. And without a doubt, you're right, we need affordable housing. You're right, the fastest growing neighborhood is downtown, and that's not affordable for a lot of people. It's beautiful what they're doing, and they're filling them up. But let's look in other neighborhoods. They're over by Southland. They're building some new apartments, and I think they're going to be affordable. But we got to continue that and work with these investors. And one thing too is these landlords, we have to hold them accountable. What's happening today is a lot, because it's very affordable. These investors in that are from out of state, and they buy them up and then they rent them, and they're not taking care of them. They're not, No, we can't allow that. Yeah, we want whoever wants to invest in our city, but we have to hold them accountable. We cannot just let them, these poor tenants that are paying their rent, live in a shack, what they're doing to them.
What would accountability look like? Because you will hear members of council, you would hear members of the mayor's administration promote that they're going to hold officials accountable that own these properties. What would accountability look like for these owners of rental properties in Toledo?
I'd get on the phone with them, even the city council. I'd get on the phone and call them. And if they don't want to take care of them, then we need to fine them. I don't care. We need to fine them. Is it fair that these poor families, not poor, but these families that are renting right now till they can buy a home have to live the way they do sometimes? And if these landlords are letting that happen, we need to get, if we don't have it already on the books, we need to hold them accountable.
Is there anything we haven't touched on that is something that's grabbing your attention that you would like to address if elected?
Safety. We're going to go back to that again. That what I really would like to see in some neighborhoods is bike patrol. Let these policemen go in their neighborhood and get to know them and hear what they're saying, and versus just a police car driving by. Get some of the police back on bikes. We used to have a bike patrol, and you don't see that very often anymore. So we've got to have a safe city.
So would you say that's contributed to maybe some distrust that has been built between some communities and police, as well as just the general disconnection and lack of awareness of certain neighborhoods?
Because they don't know them. You know, you see the police car driving by and people get all worried like, oh my God. But if you see them, they're one of us. They live here and they work here, and get to know them. And because majority of them, a large majority, are good people, men and women. So let them get in the neighborhoods and even walking around and talking, and we're getting some of that, but I think we need to continue that.
Toledo City Council candidate Ed Beczynski, I appreciate you for joining me.
Well, I appreciate you interviewing me. Thank you.
Yep. And that is This Community Focus. I'm your host, Jaden Jefferson.